Well, you know how something becomes the talk of the town, right? So you would have had to have been under a rock not to have heard about the new nonsense that's occurred in my republic. Yeah, I'm talking about the Waterfront Brawl. Now, we're going to have to break this up into different parts because I want to do a deep analysis of all the different aspects of this because there are numerous. Yeah, everybody's gotten involved. Yeah, everybody has an opinion about this, but my opinions really they're going to be all over the place here. So you all are going to be in for a treat. Get your popcorn. When you see this, when this is televised to you, we'll have to think about when we want to televise it. We'll have to make a determination. You know, I'll have to look at what's happening. Pay attention to what I know is probably going to happen based off of certain circumstances. And we'll give a time when you all can see this commentary. When you actually are viewing this commentary, it'll be because something else has already occurred that I'm fully aware will more than likely take place. So that's when you'll see this and you'll be like, how did you know that? Don't worry about it. We know a lot. There's a lot of things we know. I just don't say everything. The Waterfront Brawl. Let's start here. We want to start here. Agent Chaos, aka the lunatic from Mar-a-Lago, aka Donald J. Trump, the former disgraced, twice impeached, three-time indicted, yeah, former president, just so happened to be in Montgomery either the day of or the night before this Waterfront Brawl took place. Now, you know, you say that's just a coincidence. But, you know, with me, I always tell folks, I don't believe in coincidence. Yeah, I don't believe this realm operates coincidentally. There's a rhyme and a reason to why everything really does occur in the universe. So for you all, you see it as a coincidence. But a creature like me, yeah, never sees anything as coincidental. No. Not at all. Sorry, not sorry. No, he was there to stoke and provoke the usual suspects that he stokes and provokes. We all know who they are. They've been around since the beginning of this republic. Yeah. And they've been causing and wreaking havoc since the beginning of this republic. We're in accountability season, so finally there's some accountability for their atrocious, horrendous actions that they think they can perpetrate on a daily basis towards folks who they just don't like. Yeah, y'all know who I'm talking about. We don't have to say anybody's names or give any descriptors because we all know who they are. Now, why oh why is nobody really covering the fact that every time Mr. quote unquote death and destruction comes somewhere, you have death and destruction occur? You know, for folks to say that they're religious. I'm not. I don't care for that shit. But for folks that say that they are, perhaps they need to do a greater inspection of their scriptures. Because it definitely talks about individuals. Not just one entity, multiple entities exist in this realm. That wherever they go, and it usually says they're masculine in nature. And you don't see too many feminine energies doing this, but there are some feminine energies too that are problematic. But wherever these masculine energies go, usually there's chaos that they leave behind in their trail. Now, I'm wondering why the media has not connected the dots and said, you know, Donald J. Trump was in Montgomery, Alabama, the same jurisdiction this huge brawl took place the night before or the same day of. Any type of correlation between his hateful routine that he does, it's like the circus. I told you all, it's like the Ringling Brothers coming to town. Whenever he does that Make America Hate Again speech that he does, you know, calling everybody names and doing all that shebang that he does, usually the people who enjoy that get drunk off of that hatred, anger, and rage, and they have a propensity. These individuals don't really need any prodding or poking to be hateful and rageful. It's genetically in them. I want to make that clear. It's a genetic defect. We all know this. But it kind of helps. It's like alcohol. You know, people say it's liquid courage. It gives you the motivation to do things. It lowers your inhibitions. That's in essence what Donald J. Trump does to these individuals who are not so nice to begin with as entities on this planet in human bodies. Although some people say that they're not so human. You know, Congress is looking into UAPs. Yeah. I said maybe it's you humans that are the actual aliens. Yeah, I have a weird, let me go off on another tangent, then we'll get back to this. I have a weird theory, you know, it's just a theory. I think all of you clowns got sent here to this planet. You might not all originally be from this planet. You might have gotten sent here because you're prisoners, and this is a prison planet. And you got sent here because you're low vibrational creatures, and the other creatures who are higher vibrational got sick of you misbehaving on their planets, their worlds, and so they sent you here. And you're trapped here. You can't get out of here. How do I know you're low vibrational? Well, you dislike people based off of the color and complexion of their skin. Very basic first grade, secondary, no, not secondary, elementary kind of thinking. Low vibrational thinking. Secondly, you consume dead flesh, other animals. Yeah, other species consuming other species, when there are plenty of things that are far healthier to consume. You give yourself cancer, diabetes, very low vibrational frequency and thinking. So the other creatures said, we have these creatures on our planet that are low vibrational. Translation, stupid as hell. We need a place that we can send them so they don't infect the rest of our population, make our vibration go down. Let's send them here to this planet we call Earth. Yeah. So maybe you all are the aliens. That's just my theory. Now back to this. Trump. Yeah, everywhere he goes, you notice there's chaos. I'm calling him Agent Chaos now. You know, when this campaign starts, I haven't even started it yet. Boy, it's going to be a beautiful thing. We're getting involved super early this time. Last time I waited to October, it was just October and November. This time I'm starting in October, the year before the election. So I can really dig in, really hard. Oh, it looks like he's going to be the Republican Party nominee. Happy days are here again. I hope they do nominate him. In a way, I hope they do nominate him. Yeah, in a way. He can be nominated and in prison. Yeah, you can run from prison. Actually, there was a candidate who ran for president from prison. Yeah. So it's definitely possible. When this campaign starts, I'm going to use all of what's been transpiring as evidentiary evidence to the general public who might be persuadable. I know not everyone is persuadable, but there are some few people. And I'm going to link the correlation between wherever that lunatic goes, there's mass chaos, death, and destruction. And I'm going to say he already called for it. Then I'm going to show the clips of Charlottesville. Yeah, where Alex Fields Jr. used his vehicle and rammed it at full speed into a crowd of counter-protesters, murdering Heather Heyer. Rest in peace to Heather Heyer. We're never going to forget that shit you Nazis did. We're never going to forget. Justice for Heather Heyer. Yeah, we're never going to forget. We're never going to forget. And then Agent Chaos came on that same day and he said, look at the crowd. You know, the other side, they had bats and knives. I guess we were supposed to go out there unarmed when they had tiki torches and knives and guns and were calling for months on end for an ethnic civil war. You know, the clergy was down there praying. Go and talk with Cornel West. I think he's running for president. The media ought to ask him about Charlottesville because he was there that night. And he said a bunch of clergy were just out there praying, singing and chanting. And all of a sudden, a swarm of angry, racist, white men, that's who they were. See, I'm going to be descriptive now. They swarmed on them and tried to murder them. And Cornel West told Amy Goodman, yeah, he told Amy Goodman of Democracy Now! That had Antifa not have been there to defend them, those angry white supremacist men who were chanting, Jews shall not replace us. You all remember that hateful skunk that they were chanting? And blood and soil, all that shit. He said they would have just murdered them right in front of that statue had Antifa not come along and defended them. So thank you very much, Antifa, for defending people who were just there to exercise their First Amendment rights. You know, they had a right to be there and chant too. But they came and the way I saw it, they attacked us first. They don't like the people disagree with them. Yeah, I know what it's about with them. It's like they have a right to be hateful Nazis, but we also have a right to disagree with you. Okay? Yeah. You can't claim First Amendment and then when somebody else says that we disagree with you and we're exercising our First Amendment right, you go and take your vehicle and ram it into us. We're not going for that anymore. Period. Yeah, I told you I can't say everything, but best believe I'm ready. Yeah, best believe I'm ready. We're ready. Because I've had enough of it. They can have their opinion. I'm not trying to change their opinion. They've had that opinion forever. Ever since they landed here, they've had that opinion. Yeah, I tell folks all the time, they have a propensity towards genocide. Yeah. I think we all know how many times they've attempted it. Do we need to go back over the record to see how many times a particular entity of a particular group has tried to commit genocide on this planet? Yeah. Because sometimes people want to minimize that fact. You know, just Pearly Things and Nick Fluentis, they said they try to exaggerate what happened. You know, Nick goes around saying, you know, I find it hard to believe that 6 million Jewish people were put in ovens. Okay, Nick, you gave that cookie scenario. You all remember that clown, what he said? I said, okay, Nick, maybe it wasn't 6. Let's go with 4. Is it good that you put 4 million people in ovens and gas chambers? You know, if about 100,000 is off, was it good that you shackle people to boats, just Pearly Things, and millions of people, according to experts, all the scholars, you know, the scholars that Mr. DeSantis wants to talk about in Florida? Independent scholars say that along the Middle Passage, you know, from Africa to the Americas, over 300 million Africans died. Many of them committed suicide and jumped in the water rather than to be mistreated on the shores of the Americas. Yeah. So I don't know who that they are that exaggerate your genocidal propensities. You have to let us know. Yeah, they use they. We know who they're talking about. You know, I just come out and say their names. I don't say they. I tell you who exactly they are. Yeah. So be specific, just Pearly Things and Nick Fuentes. That's what I'll tell you. Be specific. I'm specific as hell. Yeah. I call names. Yeah. I take names, baby. So anyway, you all, we had Charlottesville. Yeah, Mr. Death and Destruction. We certainly saw the death of Heather Hare. Then we had George Floyd. Yeah. And you remember, at that point in time, this is the onset of COVID. Nobody knows what the hell is going on. As soon as there was uncertainty, fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the society, what did the Americans do? Yeah, let's talk about it. Because nobody misbehaved like the Americans did. Yeah. People say, oh, the Chinese were sealing apartments. They were welding apartments shut. Yeah, they did that. They made sure everybody stayed inside their homes, stayed quarantined. Maybe the Americans should have made sure people stayed inside their homes too. Because they said they were quarantined, but the McMichaels ran out in their pickup truck with Roddy Brown and shot down Ahmaud Arbery right at high noon in Brunswick, Georgia. Were they quarantining when they shot a man who was just jogging, stopped to inspect an open house under construction? Yeah. Then you had Breonna Taylor. You remember LMPD? Louisville Metropolitan Police Department, to be more exact, ran up in this EMT's home or apartment 3 o'clock in the morning and just shot the woman. Just murdered her in cold blood. A lynching. That's what it was. It was a lynching by the United States government, because LMPD is the government. They're the state. That's the government. The police is the state. So anytime the police assassinate an individual without due process, that's the government. Breonna Taylor wasn't talking about assassinating politicians. Yeah, she wasn't doing any of that. She was going to work, minding her own business. And they said, well, we suspect that she might have drugs in her apartment. She might be a drug. You all remember this bullshit? They said she might be a drug queen pin. I said, this woman had 2 jobs during the pandemic. She was an essential worker. How the hell did she have time to be a drug dealer? Her ex-boyfriend was apparently a drug dealer. Her ex-boyfriend. Yeah. And then LMPD tried to cover that up. Remember the cover-up after they assassinated and lynched her? Yeah. And then we saw in Minneapolis, the Minneapolis Police Department lynched George Floyd for 9 minutes and 22 seconds. And that's when the protests sparked off. People were like, I've had enough of this shit. Yeah. We had Ahmaud Arbery in January, Breonna Taylor in February, and George Floyd in March. And people were like, this is it. Yeah. And we had a president who was ignoring the spike in hate crime. You know what he was going around the country doing? He was inciting people to violence. Yeah. He was like, we shouldn't have an election. We should just cancel the election. I couldn't wait till November to get his ass out of office. I said, this has been a 4-year nightmare. I marked it down on every calendar when it was election day. I said, I knew he wasn't planning on leaving peacefully. I started telling folks in June, he's not going to leave peacefully. Because he said if it was up to him, I remember at the press conference, in the summer of 2020, he said, if it's up to me, we wouldn't have an election. We wouldn't mail out any ballots. There would be no need for an election. I said, bitch, the election is in November. Pack your bags and get the fuck on out. Yeah, I was part of the squad that if he didn't leave, I was going to come up in there and make sure he left. I don't care how many January 6th people there were going to be there. We were going to organize in all the cities, millions. They only had 100,000. We were going to organize millions. And we were going to pick a day. And we were going to go up into 1,600. Yeah. And you know what was going to happen. Because the people run this. They're not really the only people. You know, they think that they are, but they're not. I said, you have to abide by election results, right? That's why we have them, because you have to abide by them. You know, you can't go around lecturing people about democracy and then hang nooses and gallows when you don't get your way in a democratic election. Yeah. And then we had January 6th. You all remember January 6th, right? What a disgrace. Yeah. And then they tried to whitewash and water that down too. You know, anytime, think about this. Any type of atrocious things that they do throughout the course of the entirety of this republic, they try to minimize and water it down to the point where now Florida is telling middle schoolers there were benefits to enslaved people being in slavery. Yeah, just water down any type of atrocities we did. But you know, really exaggerate that in China the Uyghurs are in a camp. Yeah, they're in a camp. Nobody is torturing them. Nobody is stringing them up to trees with nooses like you did in Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Texas, and Florida for centuries in this country. Find me one Uyghur that's ever been strung up on a tree on a highway road like you bastards in this country that you say is a democratic country. Find me one Uyghur that's ever been tortured like that. Yeah, find me that. Because then I'll criticize the People's Republic of China too. Tell them you can't do this to the Uyghurs. You can't lynch people, hang them on trees. Yeah. No such occurrence has ever happened in the People's Republic of China. Never done. Now, have the Uyghurs been mistreated? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And they shouldn't be. I make no bones about it. But you can't go over and lecture other people about human rights atrocities and abuses when I don't think any country has ever committed so many human rights violations towards their own citizenry as America has towards its own citizenry. No other country. Yeah, none. Not to say that some of them are glamorous. No, there's no glamorous countries here. But nobody's ever done that shit for as long as the Americans. To this day, they still do it down south in the Bible Belt. Then they come, this is off topic, but not really. You know, I gotta rub it in a little bit. Then they come and, you know, they have the nerve, the gumption, the gall to ask me, do you know Jesus? Do you believe in Christ? I tell them, hell no. Get away from me with that shit. Yeah, I should. It's like Dracula to me. I should have that water and just pour it on him. Be like, be gone, you Dracula, you demon. Anytime I see them with the cross, you all, I don't want to say what I'm gonna do, or that whole Jesus is Lord shit. You know, I can't say this is the internet. I won't say what I want to do, but I'm like, bitch, go kick rocks. I am never, ever, 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 ever. How many times do I have to say ever gonna believe in Jesus, nor your Bible, nor be a Christian? I know what that shit is. It's not for me. If it's for you, so be it. It's not for me. They say you're going to hell, you're cursed. I'm like, good, that's a good thing for me. Whatever place you're going, I want to go to the exact opposite place. If you feel you're going to heaven, and I see you there when I get to the next round, I'm like, oh my goodness, there's Bob. Bob used to string up people on trees with nooses. Bob used to go around cutting open black women's bellies, murdering their babies. I don't want to be in the same place with Bob. Hey, whoever's in charge of letting me into whatever location, can I be in the place that Bob is not in? Please and thank you. Yeah, I don't want to go to the same place with him. Absolutely not. Child, please, I only want to go around this rodeo one time with you demons. If there are demons, it's definitely them. Please. Goodness gracious. Folks think that they can do all types of horrendous shit and then be telling you we're all created in God's image. Well, I don't know if there is any entity called God. I really don't care. But if that's your belief, it would stand to reason that I don't think that you should be racist then. Yeah, I would want to cover my ass. I would want to do CYA. Because if we're all created in this image of whatever this illusion, imaginary thing you call God is, I don't think I would want to be racist now, would I? So no, I have no desire or any love for the Bible Belt. Man, they can shove their Christianity as far up their asshole as possible. Yeah, and take Jesus with them. Be gone. I never, ever, ever am going to believe in that shit. Never. Just never gonna happen. You all, if you even suspect that I possibly could, please send me to some type of counselor for immediate treatment. Yeah, immediate treatment. Yeah. And don't take it personally, Christians. I'm not joining any cults. You know, Muslims, Jewish people. Hey, do you. Buddhists, do you. I don't do cults. I don't have to believe in creatures. Yeah, I believe in myself. Yeah, I'm doing me. These other creatures, they can do them. I'm going to do me. And you all can do you. Just don't try to force your shit onto me, because that's when the claws are gonna come out. I don't want to hear it. I've been hearing about this religious bullshit ever since I touched down. And if it were up to me, none of that shit would be around. Yeah. Yeah, China has the right idea. I see why they don't want it in their republic. Hasn't it soaked the streets of Europe for centuries in bloodshed? Them fighting over which denomination, which entity is more superior? Hasn't it soaked the streets of the Arab world for centuries in bloodshed? No, I'm a Shiite. No, I'm a Sunni. All that bullshit. You think anybody got time for that? No. No. I don't have time for that shit. I believe in myself. Yeah, I came here solo dolo, and I'm leaving solo dolo. Yeah, that's it, period. When I get to the next round, wherever that is, I'll tell them, you brought me here solo dolo, and I left solo dolo. Yeah, period. I don't have any problem telling anybody anything. I'm good. I tell them all the time, don't worry about me, child. You better worry about yourself. They be telling folks, you're going to hell. I'm like, show me your heaven ticket. Yeah, if you got the tickets, you know where everybody else is ticketed to go. Show me your heaven ticket. Yeah. Show me your ticket, where you're going. I just listen to them. I'm like, I don't know how anybody told you where you're going. You telling me where I'm going. Where are you going, child? Best worry about yourself. See, all these people that want to worry about other people, child, they better start worrying about themselves. Because I'm not worried about anybody else. I'm worried about me. Yeah, I got to take care of myself. Y'all, if some of y'all come along, that's fine with me, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not really thinking about y'all. I'm thinking about me. I got to do me. That's how everybody better look at this situation. Do you. Don't worry about anybody else. That doesn't mean not to treat other people with respect, though. With kindness and empathy. Yeah, you can do all of that shit. But I don't need some type of cult practice to do it. I can just do it on my own if I choose to. Or not do it on my own if I don't choose to. It's my choice. You know, they've always been about subjugation and control. Yeah, subjugation and control. That's it with them. If we tell you what to do, so you better do it. Like, who the hell are you? Like, you don't pay. You know, I have to say this. You can subjugate and control me when you pay my electric bill, when you pay my cell phone bill, when you pay my internet bill, when you pay my groceries. Then you can subjugate and control me. Oh, you don't pay any of my bills? Go kick rocks, you stupid son of a bitch. Like, I'm not listening to you. Yeah, it's usually, have you all noticed the only people that want to get here and subjugate and control you are some old men? You think I'm going to listen to some old crusty ass men? You gotta be kidding. That's a joke. They're like, I'm a king, I'm an imam, I'm a pastor, I'm a preacher. I said, you ain't shit to me. That's some title you gave yourself. I see you as walking, talking bullshit. Period. That goes for all of you. I don't honor none of that shit. Period. Never have, never will. Yeah. Telling you come from folks that used to burn people at the stake if they got an education. Oh, yeah. They ran up on that bus. Here's a true story. See, people don't like the truth, but I don't give a damn what you like. They ran up on that bus and they shot that girl point blank in the head. And all she was trying to do was go to school. And then they claim we're a religion of peace. They all say that they're peaceful. I'm like, I'm waiting for the peace. Have you all ever seen any peace? Is that peaceful to shoot a little girl, 8-year-old girl in the head because she wanted to read a book? Is that peaceful to you? They're like, we're a religion of peace. I say all the time, I'm waiting on the peace. I've been waiting around for centuries. Ain't been no peace. They've been warring back and forth with each other about who can get the most people for their little stupid cults. So you can sit in there and worship some stone idol that they got. Man, I'm telling you, they will not put me on anything. Please don't. Because you don't want to hear this. Yeah, I'm waiting for the peace. All of us have been waiting around for the peace for centuries. We haven't seen any peace. All we've seen is death and destruction. Peace my ass. No, they're not peaceful. Yeah, they're not peaceful at all. Yeah. Yeah, we haven't seen any peace from them. You will let me know if you've seen peace from the Muslims, the Christians, the Jews. Let me know if you've seen peace from them. Put it down somewhere where you've seen peace from them. Yeah. I haven't seen any peace from any of them. Yeah. Then they got the nerve to say we're all God's children. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Moving on next. Because, it's insulting. It's insulting when they say things, one thing, and then they do something that's totally contradictory to what they just told you. And then think you're going to sit there and just swallow that shit like so many of their gullible followers do. No. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. Yeah. Nobody wants to have anything to do with that shit nowadays. Yeah. Nobody. And I don't blame them. To me, that shit should have died out a long time ago. Should have died out when it first started. Point blank. We'd be better off without it. Yeah. Because it's just a bunch of men. Let me tell you what it is. It's just a bunch of hateful men that hate women. Who jockey for position amongst each other. Yeah. Who's got the biggest cojones? All that stupid shit. Yeah, I'm breaking it down for you. So, this Waterfront brawl, you all. Who's the real culprit? Agent Chaos, Donald Trump is. And I'm going to do dot to dot. I'm going to connect the dots. Because he's definitely responsible for it. He was there the night prior. When you do an investigation, when investigators come on a scene, a crime scene, they talk to the eyewitnesses. They say, what transpired, what led up to this situation? Something always leads up to a situation. Now we're going to get to part 2, talking about the incident more. This is part 1. Who I find to be the person at fault, not surprisingly, is Donald J. Trump, their usual suspect. Yeah, he's been at fault for a lot of chaos in this country since he got involved with politics. He's been at fault for a lot of this. He's made men in particular very sick, deranged, and ill. They really need to go and do some therapy. They really need to go and do some therapy real quick. I keep telling folks, a lot of men ain't going to be around. Yeah, they're going to be around to vote next November. I'm like, a lot of you ain't even going to be around past this winter. A lot. A shit ton of men. They're out of here, baby boo. Because if you think that type of rage and anger, that provides longevity, I'm telling you, it doesn't. They're on self-destruct mode. Yeah, they're going to destroy themselves. Yeah. Because that has to go somewhere. And it's going to go 6 feet under. That's where it's going to go. So if you got men in your family and you know they're sick, try to separate away from them and let them self-destruct. It is what it is at this point. It's just, yeah. It's the universe taking care of a sickness that's been here for centuries. You know, if you think about it, men have been sick for a long time. They've been sick for centuries on this planet. The sick shit they've been doing, they're responsible for climate change. They're responsible for all of this violence towards women and queer people. Yeah, they're responsible. Their gender is responsible for all that shit. And now they're going to be held accountable in this season. I feel no sympathy for them. I hope the universal... You know, they have a saying, the universe always wins. I hope the universe really lays it on thick on them. I really do. I think a lot need to go. I think a lot need to go. They're too sick to be here with the rest of us now. Time to go. Yeah. It is what it is. The universe always wins. And things, you know, it's people that can't accept change too. A lot of times folks can't accept a change. Change is difficult. I get that. It is difficult. But you have to be able to adjust. You have to be flexible. Yeah, flexible and nimble. Yeah. And so when Trump said death and destruction, I knew what was going to happen. Yeah. Yeah. I knew what was going to happen. I think everybody knows. A lot of women know that they're in relationships with problematic men. They know. They know. Yeah. A lot of them are going to try to exit those relationships too. You think the breakups now are bad? We got to talk about that OC judge out there in Orange County, California, who just murdered his wife. He was a conservative constitutionalist too, collecting all these guns, waiting for a race war to break out. Ended up using his gun to unalive his wife. They're crazy, muy loco. Everybody knows they're crazy, but them. They think they're normal, but they're not. Muy loco, very crazy. Muy loco, very, very crazy. And you all women, you're going to have to distance yourself from them. I'm just telling you what it's going to have to be. If you want to remain safe, you're going to have to distance yourself from them. They are deeply unwell. They're sick. And they won't do what it takes to get better. You know, sometimes when you're sick, you have to take your medication to get better. They refuse to do it, so you know what's going to happen to them. I can tell you what's going to happen, but I don't want to tell you. I've kind of seen this movie before. I kind of know how it's going to end. Yeah. And it's not the exact same movie, so you can't say, oh, it's the exact same movie, but it's very similar. It's going to have a similar ending. So you media, ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, Fox News, you report the fact that your America's Adolf Hitler, Donald J. Trump, was in Montgomery the day before, the night before, maybe possibly the same day, but within 24-hour time span of him touching down in Montgomery, you had a huge race-based brawl break out. Yeah. I'm going to tie all of that shit in. When the campaign starts, oh, I'm coming out swinging. I'm holding no punches against him. I hope I get one last chance to fire his ass one more time before they lock him away for the rest of his miserable, forsaken existence. Yeah, I want him locked away forever. And then toss the key in the ocean. And when nobody can find it and release it. Yeah. Yeah. That's how it started though. A lot of people don't know that when he was young, he was under military detainment. Yeah. His maternal side, she knew. She knew. The paternal side was Nazi. See, they don't really want to tell you all this. The paternal side was a Nazi from Germany. Yeah. He was over there with Adolf Hitler. You all should know that. He was a Nazi. The maternal side, she knew. She had him committed under military. Said maybe that'll help, but, you know. Some things don't change. And you know, they say, as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Yeah. So we'll be ready very shortly to wage this final campaign against a deeply problematic entity in our society. Deeply problematic. Yeah, this is going to be it for me. This is my final campaign. I'm not doing no more. But I'm also not going to allow that to take over again. Because it'll spread elsewhere. So we have to get it at the root cause. It's emanating from this republic. Everybody knows where it's emanating from. And in 2024, it's time to finish the job. Yeah. We're going to finish taking care of it. Yeah. This is part 1 of this. We'll talk more about the brawl, but I wanted to tell you all who was responsible for it. I'm going to link them in. I'm going to tie them into this. When you see the Montgomery Brawl footage, I'm going to have clips of his speech in Montgomery. Yeah. I'm going to use that and parlay it over that brawl. This is it. I'm playing for keeps this time. I'm going all out. I'm not going to let up one bit. I'm going to pour it on heavy. As heavy as it can be. I'm going to show Charlottesville the violence there and parlay his commentary. I'm going to show George Floyd the violence there and parlay his commentary. I'm going to show January 6th and all those tweets and parlay. Then I'm going to ask the citizenry, do you get the picture? He's chaos. And he's causing chaos in the republic. Hold him accountable in 24. Yeah. I'm going to parlay it. I'm going to make it clear. And we know there's going to be a lot of people against us. Yeah, we know. We know. I'm ready for them too. But there's going to be a lot of people with us. is convincing the tiny few that this is important to thwart and stop. That's what this is about. Yeah. You know, our current president said in 2020 it was a battle for the soul of this republic. Yeah, that's true. It's a battle for the soul. Some people say a lot of people in this republic don't have a soul. I don't ever really talk about this, but I know why a lot of people don't have a soul. You can't do what occurred starting in 1619 and maintain a soul. You can't do it. There are some things that transgress all bounds. They are violations to the universe. Yeah, this is true. So you have to be very careful what you do. Yeah. And so, I'm looking forward to this. Yeah. Ending Trump again. Yeah. Now I said, hashtag fire Trump again, 2024. Yeah, hashtag it. Fire Trump again. You're fired. And now I'm going to tell him again, you're fired again. We should have never hired his ass. Yeah, y'all shouldn't have ever hired him. I'm proud to say I was against that lunatic every time he was on the ballot. Never voted for him, never was convinced of it. Knew he was a con man, criminal. Yeah, New Yorkers knew that from Jump Street. Shout out to New Yorkers. Real New Yorkers knew that Donald Trump has been a con man his whole entire life, stiffing contractors. He's been in and out of court multiple times. When he had that university, most of his students who graduated sued the university for fraudulent degrees. Yeah, he's gone around mistreating people his whole entire existence. And the only people that buy that clown show routine are a bunch of gullible smucks. Yeah, gullible, racist smucks. Because anybody else can see through that grift from a mile away. Ask the New Yorkers. They remember when his planes couldn't even get off the tarmacs in LaGuardia. They're like, that shit ain't getting off the tarmac. Your planes are not licensed to be here. He had all kind of issues because he had the airline company. Yeah, you all remember that? If you're in New York, they remember. FAA said they're not going to be allowed to fly that shit because it'll come crashing back down. And they don't want the legal liability. So they wouldn't even let that shit off the tarmac in LaGuardia. He's been a bum and a nuisance and scum since he arrived on this realm. And now it's accountability season. Yeah. We'll talk about Atlanta and what he said about the Honorable State Attorney Fannie Willis at another time. And I'll talk about that. But now we're talking about this Waterfront Brawl, and this is part one. We've identified the culprit, the real culprit. You know, the people that gave them Alabaman racists the liquid courage to go out and attack a worker who was just simply doing his job. Part two will analyze that. What really transpired. How I see it, how the media has portrayed it, and how other people on the internet see it and portray it. That's going to be good, part two. Part one, we've identified the culprit, Agent Chaos, yours truly. The former, twice indicted, disgraced, 3 times now, no, twice impeached, 3-time indicted, disgraceful president, former president. Thank goodness it's former. Boy, oh boy. Should have never got in there anyway. You don't know why he got in there, right? Because America is racist and it's misogynistic. They couldn't go from a black president to a female president. Oh, no, that's too much. Men were tripping. They're like, I can't have no bitch give me orders. That's what it really boils down to. Bunch of men are like, I'm not going to take any orders from a bitch. I'm like, bitch, you wouldn't be here if you didn't come from a woman. This is how hateful and misogynistic men are. Yeah, we know. Believe you me, I know. Yeah, I know. So we'll talk about part 2. I had to analyze it from every angle. I'm telling you. Montgomery, Alabama. The history of Alabama, it's a disgrace. Alabama has been a disgrace. We'll reserve that for part 2.